Good morning. Okay, guys, so last night I spent the entire evening, sorry, it's a little shaky, I'm using my phone, taking all the Limax out. Everything is in bins. I took all the garland down, got my jingle bells all wrapped up. We are going to be cleaning for days. So I've got the team here that's going to help me break down these trees because this otherwise would take me a whole day, Peppy. We can't do that. It's sunny and beautiful. The sun is shining. It is the most beautiful day. It's New Year's Eve. So we're going to get going on this. I probably won't show you a whole lot of this part, maybe a little bit. Here's all the laundry we need to get done. I've got about 6 more loads to do. Yesterday I came through the bathroom and took out pretty much all of the holiday decor, but I kept these just because I thought they were really pretty. And I think I could put some like little lavender sprigs in them, make them a little more spring-like. And here's my sweatsuit for the day. And then let me show you the garage before everyone gets here. Too late. Thank you guys so much for joining me in today's video. If you're new here, my name is Nicholsen. I love to do all things homemaking, and if you're returning, it is so great to see you. Okay, it is now officially a new year and we need to get planning. I decided to take a little time today and share how I plan out my months, my weeks, and my days. You can also plan out your entire year. I don't go that far ahead, but today I'm going to show you 3 different ways to stay as productive as possible. It has to be probably one of the most asked questions down below, which is how do you get so much done? So today I'm going to show you my tips and tricks. I've tried 3 different ways of using this method that I use to stay ultra productive, and I'm going to share all of them with you. It just so happens that one of my very good friends created a planner called the Productivity Planner, which is the exact way I do it. I take important dates for the year. Those are birthdays, days off, days kids don't have school. I have a monthly kind of overview. Then I take my goals. I write down what my goals are. Don't do more than 3. You'll get overwhelmed. I take those goals and all the measurable things I need to do to achieve them. I put those in a week overview, and then I break them down by day. I do quick tasks, which are just like, things I can't forget to like put hay or something for the chickens or whatever. And I kind of break them down that way. The second way you can do it is actually make your own planner. So if you don't want to purchase one that's already completely done exactly the way I do it, you can actually buy this exact notebook or any notebook really, and start with your high-level goals. I'm just going to put a lot of generic things in here because some of my goals are highly confidential because of what I do for work and whatnot. But I take my goals, I put them on the first page, and then I take a calendar. I will put this in a link down below. You can print it for free. I downloaded it off Canva, but you can print it for free off my website. And from there, I will put in all the things I have going on, from meetings, high-level work projects. I have all types of kids-related things like sports and just like school projects. We have probably like our 15th science fair coming up, things like that. You'll go ahead and put that in a very high-level month plan. And on the other page, I will write the month at the top and the year, and then I will break it down by things I need to do, what projects I have, and start to put high-level things that need to be done on that page. From there, I will break those things. Like, let's say one project is I need to remove everything from the garden so that I can put the new garden in. It's not just saying I need to put the new garden in. It's I need to gut the garden, move the soil, order more soil. I need to also get the bins. And then what I do is go week by week. So at the very top, I'll put, much like I do with my meal planning, put the dates at the top: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And from there, I will take what I need to do that month and start feeding it into the days of the week. Depending on if you work full time, if you are a stay-at-home mom, it doesn't really matter what you put on your monthly overview. These are just the things that you want to accomplish this month. Sometimes, look, they aren't things I want to accomplish. They're things that have to get accomplished. So here is a very easy way for me to go high-level month. What are my goals? What are the things I actually have to do? What are the actionable steps I need to be able to accomplish them? And when am I going to do them? I'll share a little bit more about framework mentality later in this video. For those of you who are new here, I have been an executive in the wine industry here in Napa Valley for many, many years. And I had a CEO coach for many years. So a lot of the stuff I've learned and how to stay productive, I've learned through so much of not only the people that I've had the absolute honor to work for, but also some of the training I've had. So whether you choose to get a notebook, which I will link this one down below, I showed you in the beginning of this video, the one I probably got about 18 of them. But whether you choose to get that notebook, I just happen to really like it, or you choose to get the Make It Happen Productivity Planner, which again, Amy and I are really good friends, but also one of the things that we kind of really connected on is the way that we plan is exactly the same. And I've seen so many planners. I collect planners, but this method has honestly been a really game changer for me over the course of the last probably 10 years. I've had this method to really go day by day, especially your day breakdown, doing block scheduling, adding quick tasks, adding real tasks that are applied to your goal setting, micro habits, making sure that you're following your water intake, your workout routine, your AM PM routines are really important. It's something else that I know now what those things are, but you can also write them down. And then at the end of every week, I do this as well. I do a reflection of all the things that happened. If there's tasks, micro tasks that need to carry over into the next week in order to continue to chip away at the outcomes of my goals, it's really good to sit down one time a week and reflect on what happened, what you were able to accomplish, what got in your way, all of those things. Now, the last way you could do it is actually go into Canva and create your own. You can use Notion. If you're an iPad girly and you love to actually use your iPad to do your planning, Canva has some really great different frameworks to do that. This is how I did my planner a long time ago. Honestly, this takes too much time for me, so I don't do this, and time is my number one asset, so I typically don't do things like this. But what I did do is went ahead and deleted all the stuff I had in here and downloaded it. So if you want to print this and use this method, I already kind of put a very simple framework together of how, again, I look at my week, I look at my month, I look at my goals, and I put the actionable things that need to happen to achieve them. Even if your goals are, I want to clean out the pantry. We don't just clean out the pantry. We need to make a list of what needs to go back into the pantry. Where is it going to go? Are you going to use decanters? Where do we get those? Where do we find good deals on those? Maybe doing it that way will help you kind of reframe your mind on exactly how to get it all done. So now that I'm done showing you those 3 methods, I hope you guys check out the Productivity Planner. I love it. I've started using it, but I waited until after I showed it. I need to get cleaning. Number one thing to do today is to clean the house after they moved all the trees out. It is now the 3rd of January and the house is officially Christmas free, which is so sad. I miss it already. But one of the things I need to do is some serious laundry. So first, I'm going to get things cleaning, and then I want to share with you a little bit more on how to kind of stay disciplined and work through your to-do list for 2025. While cleaning in here, I was pleasantly surprised that everything was kind of wiped down, and I asked my husband if he had cleaned in here, and he said, yeah, that when the guys moved the trees out, that he went ahead and just did the floor and cleaned everything. So I didn't have too much to do in here, which was quite lovely. Now, I will say, if you've been on this channel for a while, you've seen this room transform 50 different ways. I've had different couches in here. This year, actually, probably this month, I am going to kind of redo a little bit of this space, kind of shop around the house and find things to give it a little bit more warmth. I want to add some of my olive trees back in here. I want to, this couch we had just moved in here because, we got a new couch in the other room, which I really should link down below because I get a lot of questions. For the last probably couple days, the kids and I have been playing basketball in here. It's been pouring rain. It's finally sunny and beautiful, but it's been pouring rain here. And we have a basketball hoop and always have at this house in the living room just because it has such high ceilings. It's kind of we don't spend a whole lot of time in here, which is such a bummer. I wish we did, but there's really not too much to do in here, and it's always a bit drafty and cold in the winter, and it's hard to go to the basketball courts when it's this cold. So we've been playing basketball, having a ball in here. It is just such an interesting space. So this year, and probably the next video, tomorrow, Sunday, we will have my Sunday reset. So I probably maybe Wednesday or Friday, I'll have a video just kind of showing, adding some very subtle pieces around the house to ring in the spring season, because I am, for the first time in a long time, I feel like I'm really ready for summer. I don't know why this winter was just very gloomy. Perhaps it's just been very rainy and we've had to spend a lot of time inside, but for me, I'm ready for spring. I'm very excited to get back in the garden. Tell us in the comments down below, are you looking forward for spring? Are you going to be putting in a spring garden? I want to expand a little bit more on the ideas of productivity and really about planning. So I love planning. I love writing it all down. I like staying organized. But what's more important and behind all of that is really the framework of your habits, your routine, and how they effectively lend to a more highly effective life, whether your life is consumed with children, whether you are working, whether you're a homemaker, whether you are an empty nester. All of those things have measurable things that need to happen. I don't care how old I am, I will always have goals. Whether I'm 90 and my goal is to continue to have my driver's license, I'm going to do things every single week that fortify that ability and those things on my goal list. So to break this down, I thought it would be interesting, since I want to say started in my career as in the wine industry. I've always had something called the framework for my future. And basically the framework for my future has about 6 layers. So the first layer is taking my time, which is one of my biggest assets, something I value very, very much. And I say that time is my framework. So whether your time starts at 9 a.m. to 5, whether your framework starts at 4 a.m. to 6 p.m., it really doesn't matter. But what we're talking about is, when do you get up and when do you get done with your day, to the extent of, now I am in bed reading, unplugging, or maybe I'm going to scroll on Instagram for an hour every night before I go to bed. I'm not here to judge. It's very indifferent to me what you do with your time, as long as you create the framework of, where am I going to put these goals and intentions, and how am I going to set myself up to be highly productive? So for me, that starts at a month level, it goes down to a week level, and it goes down to a daily level. My framework starts at 6 a.m. and it ends at 10:30. It is the same every single day, whether it's the weekend or not. That's just how I have set my life up for many, many years. Doesn't mean that on vacation and sometimes I don't sleep in, I get sick. I'm just saying the generalized framework I have for my life starts at 6, ends at 10:30. When I wake up, I have the same AM routines. When I go to bed, I have the same PM routines. And I pack my day between 8 a.m. and 4:30 with all of the measurable things that need to happen. When I was working, as many of you know, the company, it seems to be a question that's down in the comments, people seem to be very curious about. So the company that I worked for sold to another company, and highly confidential stuff I can't really say, but wasn't a surprise to me whatsoever. Very exciting. I absolutely love the people that bought the winery, but they don't need 2 GMs, so there was no sense in me staying there. And again, incredible company, loved working there, but I was also, this was not a surprise to me. So what the point of this all is that I don't know that I will be going back into that industry. I've had multiple job offers to go back into a CEO or GM role, but I think I want to take some time. Again, looking at my framework and the time I spend doing the measurable things, I've worked my way up in this industry quite a bit, and I'll be honest with you, I'm ready for a new challenge. I want to take my time to understand what that challenge is. What do I want to continue to learn? I understand this industry inside and out. I could open a winery tomorrow on my own and it would be a success. I think I'm kind of at that level where I'm ready for the next challenge of my life. Again, when I look at my framework and time being my biggest value, I really want to make sure that I'm packing my days filled with things that are going to feed my future self. And I don't know that being in the wine industry is going to do that. So this brings me to the next layer of my framework, which is now we have what is my time frame. Now we need to understand what are my values. So I always think time being the framework, values being the direction. What direction do I want my life to go in? I want my life to go into a direction where someday I have grandchildren and all the things I have learned, I can share with them when my children are older and applying for jobs and moving up in their career. It's important to me that they can come to me and ask me for advice. There are so many things I have on my goal list, but it's important as you sit down and write out whatever your goals are, your life goals. At the end of your life, what are the things that you're going to look back on and be most proud of? It's really important that they directly feed and nurture your values. So if your values are to be a very successful business person, then make sure that the things you do in your life are directly helping you achieve those goals. If it's to become a parent, if it's to become a grandparent, whatever your goals are, those things have to go in a direction that feeds your values. If your values, like for me, like let's take it and be real here. My values are to share gardening and cooking like my mother did with my children before she passed away. I don't know any of that stuff. I know some of it, but I don't know all of it. Now, if I'm working 12 hours a day like I did while we were winding the company down, how is that feeding my values? How is that feeding the things that I care about, the things that I want to give my children someday? Yes, it does help our family financially. We are a working household. For those of you who aren't, sure what's going on here in this household, my husband and I both work and have to work. Neither of us are in any shape or form set for life. I will probably work my entire life because having 4 kids is insanely expensive. If your values are to give your kids the highest and best education, which it is important to me to make sure my kids are in sports, it means that I have to sacrifice things that I want for my life because those are my values and that's what I want. For me right now, to be very honest, I want my kids to all go to great colleges. Can I afford for them all to go to Harvard? No, I can't. So that means I have to work every day. Okay, how much money do I have to make in order to help them? If they all got into Harvard, could I afford it? So those are the things I'm talking about. You've got your time, now you have your values. My values are I want my kids to have great education. If my children decide to have the wedding of their dreams, can I afford that? Or am I going to have to tell my little, my daughter, like, no, mommy, I didn't work hard enough. That wasn't part of my values. So you're going to have to go figure that out on your own. Sure. If that's your value system, absolutely. Again, judgment free. Let's try it again. Hey, I just want to take a moment and say, let's try to be judgment free down in the comments, whether they're my comments or any other YouTubers' comments. If you've got something to say that's negative, just keep it to yourself, okay? Like, let's 2025, you guys, let's get to a place where you have no idea. Please, just let me soapbox for a minute. You have no idea what other people are going through, whether it's me or a comment you make down below that affects somebody else that came here for just a zone out of 33 minutes and 2 seconds to just do nothing and to have this on while she's cleaning our house trying to get her life together. I've been there. I'm there right now. I've been there. I will be there many more times in my life. But the comments down below, they don't help. You're not helping anybody. You try to just try to put kindness on your goal list. I don't care. I nothing it. It means nothing to me. I really don't. I didn't get this far in my life getting hung up on the thoughts of, negative people. But I'm just saying 2025, let's try to clean it up. Okay. Anyway, off my soapbox. So once you have your time framework, we have established what our values are. You guys have an insight to a little bit of the things that I have way out on my goal list that really do have an effect on what I put on my to-do list today. If I'm on Instagram scrolling all day and I'm not, staying highly productive, the day when the kids get into college is going to be here before I know it. I got 4 more years, you guys, for my first one to go into college. I need to know how I'm going to pay for that. And that's really, I wasn't expecting my mother to pass away. And when a parent passes away, I had no idea how much time and money that was going to cost. Money that now has been taken out of a pot of savings that I had for my children. So again, staying very productive is great, but making sure that your time and values are completely aligned will help you to feel more relaxed and more prepared for your future. So that gets me into my next layer, which is priorities. So priorities, when I think of the word priorities, immediately the word that comes to mind is discipline. So priorities are the things you have to do, okay? These are, what I love about the productivity planner is Amy has quick tasks. Quick tasks to me are priorities. I have to mail packages. I need to pay bills. The bill structure I have bills that get on the 1st, 15th. Now I have some of my mom's bills, which I didn't realize you can't just set up auto pay when you don't own those loans. Anyway, I'm probably never going to talk about that in a video because I'm still going through it. I'm still learning about all of that. If you are a parent, please set up some very clear framework for a trust. It's just a really great thing to have. We were very fortunate. My mom did, and my aunt was a trustee, and it has been a process we are all learning. My husband and I just finished our dynasty trust for our children, and I had no idea the impact of a parental loss like this. So anyway, layering priorities helps you figure out what are your values, what time do you have, and what are the priorities. The priorities are, I got to keep my house clean. I have to pay bills. I have to go to work. I have to work out. These things will keep me strong, healthy, longevity, all of those things that are on my goal and priority and value list. So I always find that priorities tell you what direction to go in. And your values are like, look, these are the things that are the big things, right? The bubble, the big cloud. Now, these priorities, this layer of priorities should be filling up those cloud and going into the direction. For me, I have to work in order to accomplish X, Y, and Z. So that's the direction of majority of that time framework right now in my life needs to be to provide for my family. So listing out your priorities, sometimes get a piece of paper and dump out all the stuff you have to do. I have to feed the pets. Okay, these are things I can allocate to the kids. I have to clean the house. Okay, 2 days a week I can have somebody come in and help me with laundry and changing out all the kids' sheets because we got 5 beds in this house. It's a lot. So things like that, can I afford that? And will that ultimately affect my higher goal and my higher value system? No, it's $500 a week or whatever you can afford. That's what it costs. And that allows you, look, if it costs me $500 a week to make an extra $10,000, we're doing it. Okay. But how would you know that if you didn't spend the time putting your time, your values, and your priorities on paper and understanding, do all of these equal my ability to execute X, Y, and Z? So now we have our framework, we have our direction, we know what direction we're going in. Now, how do we get there? This is where I like to take habits, whether they are AM, PM habits, daily habits, weekly habits, or micro habits. How do I actually take the step in that next direction? And that's where you say, okay, these are my goals. Here's the month. You have a whole month to do as much as you can to continue to fortify these goals. Here is what I need to do. These are my priorities, and this is the direction I need to spend this amount of time in this day to complete that. What are the habits that I need to do? This is discipline. This is sacrifice. If I want to sit on Instagram all day and want to go out with my girlfriends for lunch every day and have wine and be unproductive, that's fine. None of this stuff is going to get accomplished. Having the discipline to tell yourself, I know you want to be doing this right now, but we're not doing this. You are the only one that can control that. If you don't like your job, it is your priority and your goal to get out of that job and get into another position. It's out there for you. Nobody is getting in your way but you. I always, used to say to myself, like, how am I ever going to get a CEO position? How am I ever going to get these things done? I'm not smart enough. I didn't do this. I didn't go to college. I did go to college, but like, I didn't get an MBA, blah, blah, blah. And I thought to myself, no, forget that. Why not me? And what I ended up doing was finding a boss that said, I'll invest in you. I'll hire a CEO coach. Is this what you really want to do? Okay, let's put a 5-year plan together. Ultimately, that for me was a game changer. Had I been staying where I was working prior to this, I would have never had that opportunity because that position hired me to do a job. And I didn't want to do a job. I wanted to grow in my career, continue to be challenged until there was no more challenge for me. And I got very complacent. I was bored. I didn't want to do this work anymore. There was nowhere to grow. And that's when I knew, okay, it's time for me to move on and step into the next challenge of my life. That took discipline. Because how easy is it to stay at the same job, collecting that great check and not really working that hard because I could do the work in my sleep? It took sacrifice to actually leave and go start all over again. It was uncomfortable, but ultimately, if you look at it going all the way up to my framework, I made twice as much money. I was able to exit that position in a great way. And I found out that I think I'm done in this career, and now I'm going to get uncomfortable again. I'm going to sacrifice a little bit of my comfortability, and instead of just, again, taking this time off, doing nothing, I look back at my goals and say, okay, how does what Lauren does today feed the grandchildren down the road? Both with advice, with love and care and memories, and raising great children that will someday become great parents. It's also financially, all of that stuff. So as I step into this new framework, I can look back and say, oh yeah, this all feeds into those things. It's okay to be disciplined. Don't be complacent, and to step into the next phase of my life. The last real part of these layers I call is the plan. And this is where your productivity planner comes in handy. What is the outcome of all the efforts that I put in and the habits that I have? And do those things equal a beautiful, successful, highly effective life for me? So for me, I often, the very last part of this is I don't look at, okay, so we say we do all this for the whole year. We do it together here on this channel. That's 365 days. That's a small part of your life. But if you take all of this, these habits of highly effective living, and you apply them to the values you have, think where you're going to be in 5 years from now. That's a rather large portion of your life if you take that and you 10x it. For me, 50 years, I just turned 40. So for me, I'm like, okay, 90 is kind of like, look, if I go out at 90, I'll be pretty thrilled. So what are the things I can do 5 years, 10x that, using this framework? I say throughout this, the last thing I'll leave for all of you is best thing you can do for yourself is give yourself grace and have mercy on yourself. And especially others. Please, can we just lighten up? I think oftentimes, and this is not my general view, or you guys are all so incredibly wonderful. I wish I had all of your phone numbers and we were friends and could talk all the time. But for the few that are out there, I think that this is probably a good year for you to go watch something that gives you joy and happiness, and to just lighten up. Life is hard enough for all of us. Give yourself a little grace. Give others grace. I'm very excited for 2025. I hope that this portion of today's video gave you a little bit of a jump start into a highly productive year. I want to hear all about it in the comments down below. So definitely, please let me know. Now, tomorrow is Sunday. We have a Sunday reset coming. I have 4 new recipes I'm going to be sharing with you. This week's recipes were amazing. My husband made the chicken panna cotta and the miso salmon, both spectacular. Tonight, I am making the squash carbonara. My kids called it baby food pasta because the squash is literally how I made it when they were babies, and they remembered it, which I thought was hysterical. But anyway, I will link this down below. I want to say it was Bon Appetit magazine. Very, very good. I did change up the recipe. Now, this recipe did not call for heavy whipping cream, But, excuse me, I used half and half, not that. But I ended up adding it in here because I thought it'd be creamier. And I also ended up adding in Parmesan cheese. So when you do this, so basically you cook that pancetta, which is basically, it's pork belly. So it's basically like an Italian bacon, essentially. You're going to cook that, put some fresh sage in there with a little bit of olive oil. Ooh, that sage got crunchy, almost fried a little. Wow, that was good. Then you take that out with a slotted spoon, keep that fat in there, and we're going to cook our onions, garlic, and the butternut squash, which interestingly enough, I don't know if you know this, butternut squash was named after a, what was it? An insurance agent. Anyway, I just thought that was really funny and interesting. But the kids went on a walk and brought this back for me, which I just thought was so lovely. The first sign of spring. Oh my gosh, it smelled so beautiful. I loved it. So anywho, once you have all that cooked down, you're actually going to put that into a blender. I use my Vitamix because it allows it to be hot, which is lovely. You're going to blend that down. That's when you put in about a half a cup of half and half and some Parmesan cheese. We're going to add that once it's blended back into this pan. I'm going to put in fettuccine, which was so good. Oh my goodness. Wow. This was super delicious. I highly recommend it. That was the only change that I made to this recipe was adding those in at the end. Sprinkled the pancetta on the top. That way it doesn't get too soggy by putting it back into the sauce. And I highly recommend it. I really do hope today's video gave you guys a little bit of insight. I feel like I've been talking for 100 minutes. I have not edited a single thing. These are my thoughts. I genuinely hope you guys continue to stick around on my channel. We will continue to do I'm going to try to do 4 videos a week. I didn't, obviously on Wednesday was New Year's Day, and I want you guys to be focused on your new day, your families, your cleaning routines. I will probably take normal days off. And then as far as I know, I have turned down a couple job offers. I really don't know, but yesterday, something kind of crazy popped up. So I don't know. I say I'm not going to work for this year, and I don't know. I don't idle well, as many of you know. So we will see. I also feel incredibly honored to have worked as hard as I have in this small little town and to have so many people reaching out. So we will see what the year has for me and make sure that whatever job I do take, if I do, fits into the framework for my future and gives me an incredible legacy to leave for my children. I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments down below, and definitely subscribe to the channel if you're interested in this type of content. We will be deep cleaning a couple more rooms. I also am going to show you the house completely empty. Right now it looks like we just moved in. Like there's nothing anywhere. It's wild. So I'm really excited to work with you guys on, adding things back that are meaningful, not doing as much over the top decorating, like changing out everything all year. I think I'm kind of growing past that, especially as my kids are getting older. I'm going to have 2 teenagers this year. I can't believe it. But now that we're kind of phasing out of that, but I'm going to share a lot of that with you guys. We have gardening. I have so much coming up. So definitely hit the subscribe button if you're interested. I will see you back here tomorrow, Sunday, for our Sunday reset. And I am so appreciative of each and every one of you for being here today. And I will see you very soon. Happy planning, and I'll see you soon. Bye.